Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a beautiful Christmas Yule. As we say in where I'm from, we say God Yule, Glad Yule. Trent and Shine, Merry Christmas to you, my brother. Good to see you, sir. Um, Welcome on board to this Christmas talk. In 2023, we're going into 2024. And it is for sure an interesting time to be walking on this planet that we know as Earth, right? Earth Mother. The planet that we are sustained by, the planet that we live with, from, on, in, as a part of. We are an inseparable piece, an inseparable part of the process we know as life. Life on this planet is, of course, one big process, energy, vibration of millions of processes. The process of creating oxygen through the oceans, through the forests, through the earth, through the soil. The processes of life, procreating different animals, making more animals, cells dividing, becoming new life on our planet. We are part of that process, whether we like it or not. And these days, right, Christmas time, is a time when we are celebrating these life-giving processes. We're celebrating that Earth, and especially on the Northern Hemisphere, we have just passed the shortest day of the year going into, and had the longest night of the year going in towards longer days and shorter nights. And depending on where you are on the Northern Hemisphere, there's a remarkable difference, especially when you're further up north than like where I'm from in the southern part of Sweden. It's a remarkable difference in light, how dark it is during the shortest days and how bright it is in the summer. And we are moving towards the summertime. Now, a lot of us are, of course, celebrating regular Christmas. And what, as we know it, that's the birth of Jesus. And as we know it, it's the three wise men and the scene in the stable where the newborn Jesus was. But the traditions of Jesus or of Christmas are much older than that. They have been around a long time before we started celebrating the birth of Jesus, before the Roman Catholic Church deemed year zero to be year zero. Nobody knew that at the time. At the time of Jesus, nobody knew that that would be year zero, right? That was decided 226 years later at in Isaiah, I forget the name. There was a meeting that they held when they formed what we know as the Roman Catholic Church. And as we look at these traditions that are steeped in old energetic connections to the earth, we can look at the Norse traditions, which is the origin of Santa Claus. If you have watched the video that I sent out the other day, that I posted on YouTube the other day, we were talking about how the legend of Santa Claus originates in the old shaman traditions of the Norse, of the indigenous people of the North, which are the Lapps and the Samis, two different names for the same people. They are of the same origin as the Native Americans in America and the native people in old Russia and other parts of the Northern Hemisphere. They, of course, share a lot of DNA and genealogy with the South American natives as well. So as we look on these traditions, we see that some of the traditions came from celebrating the Aminata muscaria, which is the mushroom, the magic mushroom of the north, which was the red and white mushroom, which is of course the colors that Santa wears. These are the mushrooms we often decorate the Christmas tree with. The Christmas tree, being that fir of the north, it's an evergreen. It grows year in and year out. It's always green. It stays green through the winter. And for the Norse people, this was a sign that that the evergreen was a sign that it was ever alive, always alive, and that it was the tree of life. So in those parts of the world, we celebrate the tree of life, more of a fir-like tree. And of course, in other parts, it's more of an oak, and it has different, the aspen can be considered a tree of life in some parts of the world. But the other interesting thing I found was that the Amanita muscaria, that mushroom, is symbiotic with the fir tree. It's symbiotic. It lives from the roots of the fir tree, and the fir tree gets nutrients also from the mushroom. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And the shamans that would take this mushroom, they would cook it certain ways, and they would use it for psychedelic journeys, coming on reindeer pulled sleds through the sky, through the beauty, the magical lights of the northern lights. You'd see a sleigh and a reindeers coming through the night, right? And like we also said in that video, how the shaman would, because the snow levels were high on the yurts that the indigenous people lived in, the shamans would enter through the chimney, through the top of the yurt. Which also led to their black boots, which is also the chimney and the fireplace, is where they dried the mushrooms in stockings. So we can see a lot of traditions that we are using today: the stocking by the fireplace, the fir tree, the Amanita muscaria, the mushroom in the tree. A lot of these things have much older traditions than the Christian beliefs. And even the feast around these holidays, which is, we took the sacrificial lamb or the sacrificial pig, that in the Norse traditions was a pig that they fed, that they took care of him, and then just around Christmas they would sacrifice him, is in what they called Midwinter Blot or blood. It's the Midwinter blood. It's a sacrifice that they made to appease the gods and to wish luck for the next year. Then they would eat this big pig at a feast around Christmas. This is why we have a ham. All of this is very interesting, and it's got different traditions than what we have been told through our modern history. And I find that these times of the year, or this time of the year, is also a beautiful time if you have a spiritual mindset. It's a beautiful time of returning to yourself. It's a beautiful time of coming back home. It's a beautiful time of starting to feel like, oh, life is returning. We have gone through the fall, which is usually a harder time because we're getting less and less light. And we've gone through that, and we're moving towards a higher vibratory state of when the sun is returning. We're getting more energy. This is also the sun in your body. We have an innate connection to what's called the central sun, which is the spiritual light of the world. This light you can access through the center of your chest. Shauna, good evening, Shauna. Welcome aboard. Merry Christmas to you all. And as we are moving into these beautiful times, right? Or we're just passing Christmas. Today was Christmas. And I hope you had a beautiful Christmas. I'm sitting here today because I would love for us to keep creating this community, this tribe of inner seekers. I would love for us to keep feeling like we're not alone on this journey, that we are moving through life, in connection with each other, in connection through the quantum field, through the ether, with each other. So when we think of each other, if you think of me, you might think, oh, Marcus makes me feel good. Or I'll think of Trenton Shine, and I'm like, that name is amazing. Trenton has an amazing energy. Or I'll think of Ellie Kay or Shauna or whoever, and I'll think good thoughts, right? Good thoughts come up in me. This is how we create a positive vibration around us. The ripples of our presence on this planet starts to we give out these ripple effects in the field. And the more you come into your inner strength, your inner peace, your inner love, and this light that we can call the central sun inside of us, as we come into that more and more, deeper and deeper, we create these ripple effects around us. So we smile. It's easier to smile. It's easier to speak your truth. It's easier to feel at home in yourself, in your own body. This we do by breathing deep into our body, by finding where do we carry contractions, where do we carry pain, how do we transmute and transform that pain into life force energy. Because what happens with these contractions is that they tighten up our nervous system in different parts of our body. And then life force energy gets stuck. It can't move past these contractions. And as we get more and more of these contractions, it's easier and easier we get weaker and weaker. We feel weaker and weaker. And then it's harder for life force energy to keep moving. And as that is trickier and trickier, it can, so hang on one second here, it can create some an environment for diseases to take hold of our body. So all of this goes together. This inner healing, this inner journey, finding your inner light, finding your grand central sun in your heart, in your chest, can help you feel stronger in life. Help to remove these blocks that are part of have been part of our upbringing, our life, our adult life, the trauma we have experienced. But as we start coming back into the now, into this moment, we become stronger. When we realize that, so I am not alive because of these traumas. I am not my traumas. I am that pure essence that is innocent, that was here before the traumas came in. And if you start to recognize that more and more, we can align ourselves with that inner light, and then we become the light, right? Then you become the light of the world. And as you become that light of the world, you are now in a higher vibratory state. It's easier to feel good feelings, to think good thoughts. And this can shift for all of us at any given moment. It is a lot about the frequencies you're sitting with in your system. And it's a little bit like when you shift your TV or your radio, and you'll hear different songs or different type of music, or even, you watch the news on one channel, that's the wars and the negativity of the world, you go, oh, and then you watch some beautiful flowers on another station, you go, oh. So when we move into this beautiful space, our internal space, and we start to kind of not pay so much attention to the outer tragedies that are going on in our world. It's not about bypassing. It's not even about blocking. It's just about recognizing what's true for you now, in your body, inside of you, in your heart. How can that begin to shine out through the world, right? Because if it's the only way we can shift this movement. If we focus in on the negative aspects, they are only going to grow in strength. And if we focus in on the love, on the consciousness, on awareness, that's going to grow in strength and presence. This is a process, and it takes quite a few of us to go and get into this present moment awareness, to this love, inner love. It takes quite a few of us to actually shift the whole momentum of the world, but we have to start somewhere. And as it starts within me, and it starts within you, we together start to shift this paradigm. And over time, it's going to shift the whole awareness of the world. It may take a while, or it might go quicker. But the only thing I know is that I can only stay present in that space of inner love. And sometimes mind program can be hard to deal with, right? Our mind and the programming we have can be very difficult to override by sitting in your love. It can be easy to fall victims of our mind programs that are usually fairly negative. So in this time of the year, the time when if we look at some of the messages of what Jesus brought to our world, the teacher Jesus, not necessarily the idol that's been put through in the churches, because the churches are here and there, right? But the message of peace and love is beautiful. And if you come into your heart and you find your peace and love in your heart, it's much easier to see that that can vibrate out through the world, bringing peace to the world, becoming an instrument of that peace. It's not always easy. We get challenged, we get trials, we get, tested. But the more you can stay in your heart, the deeper you stay there, the more this impact will come through. And then in our vibratory field, as we start having a higher level of consciousness, we get less and less of these negative experiences around us. And sometimes if you have one negative experience, but you've had like 10 good ones before that because you've sat in your heart, it's easier to deal with that one negative. But if we don't sit in the heart space and we're only in the mind space, we're watching news, we're seeing the horrible actions in the world, then one negative thing can really throw us off and push us over the edge. While if you've had 10 good ones before, you have one negative one, that's not going to push you over the edge. You might even react really healthy in it. Yes? So personally, this path we're on, of a higher level of awareness, of listening inwards, listening to your heart, to your guides, to your power animals, to sit in your inner space. It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be alive. Meditation becomes a big part of that. Meditation where you actually can listen to yourself. You can listen to the energy coming through you. It's beautiful. So when we're sitting here, right, we have lights in the Christmas tree, we have ornaments, and we're sitting here. There's a drum behind me, there's Odin, and then there's wolves, the story of the two wolves. When we're sitting in this space, it's a lot easier to become reminded, to get reminded of the inner beauty of the world. It's really easy if we keep only focusing on the negative, it's easy to get stuck in that. Because we know there's a lot of that. There's a lot of it. But we don't have to sit in that frequency. We can stand for truth, love, and light. We don't have to not see it, but if we keep pumping ourselves full of it, it's going to be a lot of negativity coming through us. In that sense, our energy body is a little bit like, call it bottom feeders in the ocean, right? We have mollusks and lobster and shrimp and some of the other animals that live on the bottom of the ocean. They actually filter through a lot of the poisons of the ocean, filters through them and gets stuck in them. And then they actually get more poison than the surrounding areas. They clean up the area. And in that sense, if you and I, we filter in negativity, the more of that we feed ourselves with, the more of that gets stuck in us. A lot like our internal organs, right? Your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your pancreas, they are here, and your lungs, right? They're here to filter out anything that isn't really helpful for the body and to make sure that the healthy parts get to where they need to go. But if we keep feeding ourselves negative stuff, whether it be, whether it be certain drinks or if it's food that's laced with pesticides and other hormones and other things of that nature, we will be getting sick over time because our bodies have to purify it all. And that same thing goes for the energy. The more we feed ourselves negative stuff, we get overtaken by that negativity. And the more you feed yourself with light and positive stuff, the more positive you'll get over time. And this is not about toxic positivity. It's very important. It's not about not acknowledging that you feel sad, that you feel heavy, that you feel angry. It's not about not acknowledging it. Tricky word for a Swede. Acknowledging it. But if you can acknowledge it and sit with it, accept that you have a feeling of anger, sadness, fear, whatever it might be in your system. If you sit with that, you can start to release it. You can work through it. But if we always try to push it down, it's actually going to keep working in the unseen. Then we're going to have reactions and we're going to act out in ways that maybe we didn't even want to, because we didn't sit in that inner clear space. So the Christmas time, which is a lot about family for a lot of people. Some of us don't have that much of a family left. So some of us, I found that this year, I was like, no, I don't want to sit alone around the holidays again. I'm tired. I want to create some sort of gathering. And so we were 4 or 5 people here yesterday, and we just had a dinner. And it was very simple and very easy, but it was really nice. And for me, that kept me through all day today as well. I've had a lot of holidays when I've been alone and very alone. And those holidays, I mean, that doesn't feel good. So I found that, okay, I'd like to sit with friends. And I was lucky and fortunate enough to have a few friends who came over and we sat and had dinner. And for me, that was a beautiful experience. Just it filled me up for today too. So then today I could be alone the 25th. For Americans, you celebrate on the 25th, and the Swedes, we celebrate on the 24th. But I was carried through from yesterday without a problem. So that's another thing that we want to look at, because we can look at 2023. There's going to be another talk coming out about this last year and what we can expect for next year. But we're going to touch on it just for a little bit. If you look at, welcome on board, everybody who's coming on board. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. So when we're looking at what last year was, for some of us, for some people, it was a great year. But for quite a lot of people, including myself, it was a very, very challenging year. It was hard on many, many levels. A lot of people had health problems, including myself. A lot of people had financial troubles, including myself. And it was a very difficult year from that perspective. But it also, you know, when the pressure cooker comes on, it also helps us to see what is it that we can shift in our system? What can we do to get more in, I don't want to say in charge as in like this toxic masculine control, but how can we be more responsible for our lives? How can I be more responsible for what's going on within me, how I feel about my situation, and how can I build something that's sustainable? How can you and I build a life that really works? What can we do to shift these fears, this negativity that has been slowly creeping deeper into our psyche? It's been interesting to watch this. I knew that during the lockdowns of 2020, I was I was rebellious and ornery, and I was like, this is not a good solution. This is horrible for us. This is horrible for the psyche of humankind. And we are now, 2023, starting to see sort of the deeper effects where people are getting very sick and very, there's a lot of insecurity, a lot of fear in society. And it seems like from a lot of different sources, both if we look at the practical part of our world, but we also look at the energetic shifts in our world, it looks like 2024 will be somewhat challenging as well. According to quite a few sources, it's going to be a kind of a doozy of a year before 2025 lets up. So 2024, we're going into a different magnetic frequency of our planet. And many of us are going to go through challenges that are going to be somewhat difficult. And I don't want to scare us. I don't want to scare myself. I don't want to put anything negative out there. But I also want to kind of call our attention to, let's prepare ourselves so we can feel better. It's just like if a storm is coming, let's make sure we shut the windows and put up the boarding for the windows so that the storm doesn't blow down the house. Meaning, let's deepen our spiritual walk. Let's look at ourselves in a very honest and strong light. Let's see, what can you do to strengthen your situation? Not from this victim mentality of like, oh my God, I can't do anything. No, let's come from an empowered state. Let's come from that space of, okay, zoom out on your life. Look at yourself from what we could refer to as a, this is not meant to be judgmental, but like a grown-up responsible space. How can I look at my life in a different light? What can I do? What kind of changes can I implement to make my platform for next year stronger? So that I'm ready, so that I have deep roots. If the storm comes to blow the tree over, can I have deep enough roots so I can stay standing? Because for many people who don't have a spiritual practice, who don't have a spiritual walk, it's gonna be difficult. And it's always going to look like the trauma and pain is out there. But what can we do in here to get stronger? To come from our hearts more often. To come from a strong inner space more often. So this is where this Christmas talk, bringing tidings of love and light, but also strengthening our roots into Earth Mother, strengthening our inner walk. So you can stand in love. You can stand in the light of your heart. Almost no matter what. Because it's going to make the outcome of this coming year so different. All the time, our choices create new timelines in our lives. And when we choose from the heart, from a stronger inner standpoint, the timelines shift into a higher frequency and the results become much better, right? More positive for you and for the world. If we look at the decisions you have made in your life, you can look at some that were great and some that may have been less great. And we can then start to see how in my case, the ones I made that weren't of the highest vibration, fear, negativity, anger, lack, they always set in motion timelines of a lower frequency. While the timelines that were in place of a higher frequency, the more I could stay on them, the more I had stayed on them, the easier it was then to get into a healthier space. So how do we do that? How do you look at your life from that kind of light, in that light? It's a beautiful perspective to have, because if we don't sit in the fear, but we sit in like, okay, so let's look at my life from an outside point of view. How can I improve these things? How can I make things stronger? Both from a spiritual perspective and then into the physical. So, beloved, 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 we are here to create strong, healthy timelines for ourselves and together, right? For ourselves and together. This idea of unity, this is the last thing of today, I guess, before the healing. This idea of unity is an interesting idea, right? The only way we can reach healthy spiritual unity is through sovereignty. And this sounds contradictory, but if you can be a sovereign human individual coming from your heart, you're going to make choices, you're going to make choices that are going to improve your life as well as others. When we're coming from an internal lack, internal fear, we make choices that are detrimental to ourselves and to each other at the same time. So even looking at certain things, wars are detrimentally bad because they kill a lot of people. There are other solutions for the same thing. When we take the lower vibratory solution of war, we're creating a lot of suffering for all the people in the war, but also the rest of the planet. We're all affected by it in the quantum field. Same thing goes for if you take positive solutions in your life. If you take the high road in your heart, you become a sovereign human. And then we start to because here's the other truth, right? When you start to recognize what's best for you, often is also the thing that's best for other people, right? So when we start to walk this path of love, inner light together, you and I, regardless of where you are, you could be in other parts of California, other parts of America, in Sweden, in India, in wherever you might be, in Norway, in Canada, we strengthen. You strengthen your walk, and all the people you meet, if you're in Norway or Canada or wherever you are, all the people you meet they get a little happier from seeing your face because they feel something. And then where I live, the more people I interact with and walk with or through, become happier. And we are spreading love and light through that way. Through a little more peace inside of ourselves, through a little more truth inside of ourselves. It doesn't help when we just say what other people want us to say. That doesn't help you or anybody else. But as you learn how to speak your truth, that reverberates through our ether, creating very positive ripple effects throughout the world. So here we are. It's Christmas. It's the holiday. We're sitting here on the 25th, and I'm so grateful I get to share this with you because we are creating a community of seekers who have found what they're looking for. You have found your truth in your heart. Even if you don't recognize it yet, that's where you're going to find it, inside of yourself. We're going to go into our healing part of this talk. And I wish for you to make yourself comfortable. If you have animals, I almost recommend you don't wear headphones. But if you, and usually I recommend not to wear cordless headphones. But if that's all you got, that's all you got. But I like the corded ones because there's a completely different level of EMF going on. But I want you to go within. I want you to slow down your breathing, slow down your nervous system. Feel into your body, take a few deep breaths. Let your shoulders come down. Relax your lower spine. Your hips around your butt, relax. Let your belly pop out. Let the sacral chakra relax. With each breath, expand into your heart. Envision that there is light in your heart, emanating out through your system, filling you up with light. There we are. So we're going to do our healing. I would suggest for you to set an intention, both for your life and for the world. What you would like, what you wish. Set that intention. And with your permission, we'll be working on your energy tonight. So, oh yeah, keep that love in your heart. Yes. And if you have a connection to Jesus, the energy, spirit of Jesus, let him into your heart. It's a beautiful space to be. It's so much love, so much compassion. Oh yes. But if you have a compassion or connection to the older energies of our world, the Odins and the Freyas and the Thors, let that in. Those are very powerful energies. Or any Native American, Native in general, indigenous. Grow those roots into Earth Mother. Feel your power. And set your intention for this healing session. We're activating our field of sacred space. Open that heart, fill it with light. Know that you are loved. Know that you are loved in yourself. Let that heart be open. Even if it's a bit tainted, it's been hurt, we've had betrayal. Leave our hearts as open as we can. Breathe space into the heart. Yes, there you go. And let that love flood the world. We can envision that our love is flooding our planet. invite the winds of the south, represented by the serpent, to come here and hold sacred space for us, to activate the deepest level of healing in every part of our body, from the root chakra and up. We invite the winds of the east, represented by the serpent, the condor, the eagle, and the dragon. We ask that they hold sacred space for us, and that they guide us into the realm of the unseen. We have the winds of the north, represented by the raven. We ask that the raven activate the deepest level of knowing every part of our body, that our DNA may vibrate to the highest possible potential, and that the raven holds sacred space for us. We have the winds of the west, represented by the jaguar. We ask that the jaguar hold sacred space for us and lend us her courage into our hearts. Oh yeah, why? So we can sit strong in that heart space. From the direction below, we ask that Earth Mother, Pachamama, hold us in sacred space in her loving embrace. We know it as gravity. And that Father Sky, with that loving energy, warmth, hold us in the direction above in sacred space. We have Saint Michael with the sword of light, sword of truth. We ask that Saint Michael cut any cords that can be cut with the sword of truth, when it's for the highest good of all involved, and that we may see the truth deep in our hearts with the sword of light. Then we have Stangle the dragon, Maya the wolf, Bear the bear. Our power animals who are here to facilitate the healing and to guard our sacred space. You have your personal power animal also here to guard your sacred space, to facilitate the healing. And we have the spirit guides, Sam and his brothers. We ask that they come here and guard our sacred space, and that they facilitate our healing. We have the tribe of kings and queens of old. We have the loving spirit of Mbute, the loving energy of Mbute. Then we have the ancestors on the other side of the veil, always looking out for you from the realm of the unseen. You know them as guardian angels or ancestors from your lineage. We have life force energy, like light at the center of your body, a beam of light. Then we have the Hindu Indian guru lineage. That's Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar Giri, Lahiri Mahasaya, Ramana Maharshi, and Mahavatar Babaji. And lastly, we have the Norse powers. We have Odin and Freya and Thor, Stafnir and Rafnir, and Hugin and Munin. Oh, yeah. Here's where you can call in whatever powers are here for you, with you. What resonates deeply within you. Yo 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 Tawa yaakateo. Tohi uukotai. Dea. We give great thanks to the winds of the south, winds of the east, winds of the north, winds of the west, for the sacred space that was held, and for the healing, and for the guidance, and for the intuitive knowing, and for the courage. We give great thanks to Earth, Mother and Father Sky, Pachamama and Father Sun. We give great thanks to Stangle the Dragon, Maya the Wolf, Bear the Bear, your power animals, to Saint Michael and Sword of Light, Sword of Truth, to the power animals for the space that was guarded, the healing that took place. To Sam and his brothers, to your spirit guides, Mawa Yaka Dehi Yokotai, Daya, Yahya, Moa Api, to the tribe of kings and queens of old, to Umbute and her loving energy, to the ancestors on the other side of the veil, friends and family watching over us. Oh, my oh. To Life Force Energy, to Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Yuktasvargiri, Lahiri Mahasaya, Ramana Mahirshi, and Mahavatar Babaji. And to Odin and Freya and Thor, and Stafner and Rafner. And to Hugin and Moonin. And to you, to you, to you. We are doing the chant tonight as well. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase So lovely to have you all here, especially on Christmas Day of 2023. I'm so looking forward to this coming year together with you. Whatever support we're looking for, whatever we need, we can always reach out to each other. Thank you, Trenton Shine. So much gratitude. I'm so glad you were here. And Ellie K and Shauna and L and everybody else who, Johnny Neal, Glenn Diller, everybody else who come on board here. I'm so grateful that we're all here together. This is a beautiful little community. We're meeting in the ether. We are helping to support each other and the field. We're going to say namaste and aho. We're doing this again next week on New Year's Eve, I guess. That might be different. We'll see what happens. All right. Oh, New Year's Eve might be Sunday. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. It's the first day of the year, either way. Oh yeah, thank you, Trenton. I was a day off there, yes. That's exciting too, though, huh? Thank you, everybody. So much love. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. So much love. Namaste and aho. See you again next week.